What is going on, YouTube? So coming back today with my TCU football preview for 2016. So talking about a team in TCU that went 11-2 in 2015 with a 7-2 record in conference. A team that's looking to meet big expectations once again. Return a lot of players along the defense that should make up maybe the most talented defense in the Big 12. So start with the first of my three key players, and I'm going to start with Kenny Hill. So the Trevon Boykin era is over. That's one of the biggest things for TCU this year. They got to figure out how they're going to replace Boykin. He's been their do-it-all quarterback for 2 years now. Now, when you're thinking about their offensive coordinators, Doug Meacham and Sonny Cumbie, they took what was a broken quarterback, maybe turning to wide receiver in Trevon Boykin, and turned him into a Heisman contender. You know, you take that knowledge and you think about Kenny Hill, who's actually been a successful quarterback before, and is a talented one at that. And you know, it's not terrible to think that he will be really good at TCU, or if they go with Foster Sawyer, either way. So move on to my second key player, and I've got maybe the most talented player on TCU, and that's KaVontae Turpin. If you don't know this name, know it, or then learn it. Watch his highlights. He's extremely elusive. I know they're a little bit different players, but I like to consider him more of like an Aaron Green 2.0, if you remember him for TCU. Now, a lot of the offense is going to rely on Turpin. He is the most experienced well, maybe not the most experienced, but the most well-known playmaker coming back on this team. Kyle Hicks will get a bulk of the carries too, so will Desmond White, but Turpin will be the main one. He has an uncanny ability to make guys miss. He is extremely elusive. And with them losing Josh Doxson, like I said, I think Turpin takes over as the main playmaker on this offense. So my third key player moving over to the defense is Josh Caraway. The defensive end that was the sack leader for TCU in 2015 returns for his senior year and is a contender for Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year already. They've got another guy on the opposite side of the line in James McFarland that was the 2014 sack leader for TCU, but ran into injury problems last year. I think Caraway will be the heart and soul of this defense. This is a good defense. I'll talk a little bit more about the rest of the defense a little bit later, but again, this should be the best player on what will be a very talented defense in the Big 12. So moving to the first of my two X factors, and I'm going to start with the offense. I feel like people are overlooking the inexperience of TCU's offense a little bit. Losing Colby Listenby, Josh Doxson, and Trevon Boykin, your three biggest names along your offense, like that's going to hurt. It's definitely going to hurt. You're going to have to rely on KaVontae Turpin, who, hasn't really been in the spotlight to that level yet. I think he'll be able to handle it, though. And then, I think Deontay Gray will be good this year, but you're also assuming that him and Jalen Austin can just take over as the two main wide receivers. And then also you're bringing in a brand new quarterback in Kenny Hill, who is athletic, but not near as athletic as Trevon Boykin. So, as long as their offense can, I won't say replicate the success they've seen the last 2 years, but as long as they can come near it, then TCU will have a successful season in 2016. So my second X factor is the home schedule. TCU had a rough schedule in 2015, having to travel to OSU and to OU. And to Texas Tech. That wasn't an easy one for them either. Stillwater's not a friendly place to them. That was maybe the biggest loss of their season. They were able to beat Baylor on what was maybe the biggest shit show of a game in 2015. If you watch that game, it was just a sleet, ice, hail, whatever it was. It was terrible. There were too many turnovers. But this year they get OU at home, they get Texas Tech at home, they get Oklahoma State at home, and they get Kansas State at home. Kansas State was a close game for them again also last year. This is a very different team on the road. Now, having Baylor on the road, it depends on what Baylor team shows up this year. Who knows how that's going to turn out. But the Texas and West Virginia games on the road are going to be the key ones because those are their two toughest on the road, at least in my mind right now. Well, I don't know. I think Baylor's still tougher than Texas right now. So, as long as they're able to, I mean, this is a different team this year than TCU's had in the past. As long as they don't have the same road problems compared to home as they have the last 2 years, I think they'll be fine. So moving to my trap game for TCU, and I think it's going to be West Virginia. I was just talking about them on the road. West Virginia is an extremely tough place to play on the road. Milan Puskar Stadium is no joke. It seems like they've upset a team there every single year the last 3 years to knock someone off the Big 12 title race. I don't think they really did it last year, though. At least not to knock someone off the title race. But, again, if this is the same TCU team that struggles on the road, that does at home, then this is a game you're going to have to watch out for. So, my biggest game for TCU, this one's obvious if you've paid attention to the Big 12 in this offseason, it's OU. It's either going to be the OU, TCU, or Bedlam in my mind that decides the Big 12. Right now, Oklahoma State, OU, and TCU are the clear favorites to win the Big 12. Now, what comes in TCU's favor is, again, they get both of them at home. They beat OU and Oklahoma State at home 2 years ago. Again, very different team, but, you still got the same coach and a lot of the same players on defense. And those two offensive coordinators, that's not something you can look past either. So moving to my record prediction for TCU, and I really think they're going to have a close season to last year when you talk about record. I think they're going to go 11-2. I think it's going to be hard for this team to mesh early. OU is just a better team right now. I mean, they did lose Jordan Thomas today, so that's a big loss. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with that situation, though. That's an entirely separate thing. But even with getting Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and OU all at home, I don't think they're going to make it through all those 4 games unscathed. And Arkansas. Arkansas is a big game, too. I think they're going to either clear their road schedule and lose 2 at home. I'd probably say OU and Oklahoma State, probably. Maybe OU and Kansas State. Kansas State is one of my sleepers for this year. Or they're going to clear their schedule at home aside from OU. I don't see them winning the OU game really either way. I mean, if they do, great. And then losing to either West Virginia, Baylor, or Texas on the road because they seem to lose one road game every year, at least. So that pretty much does it for my TCU preview for 2016. Interesting team to watch. This is a team that could be an 8-win team or a 12-win team this year. I have a hard time figuring it out just because the amount of question marks on offense. Again, it'll be a great team on defense, though. So I'll be coming back later today with my UNC and Mississippi State previews. But anyway, that's pretty much it. See ya.